After you find out details about this program, you're going to wonder, how did it exist for this long? The evil Trump administration is cutting down, or at least trying to pause, the Job Corps program, to which libs are like, oh no, not the Job Corps. We love the Job Corps. Now, if you don't know what the Job Corps is, it has almost $2 billion in federal funding every single year. It is a training program that has been around since 1964, and it has, let's just say, a checkered past. The Job Corps, according to the Daily Wire, is like some sort of mix of runaway teens and people without GEDs, and people are having a rough go of it, which, understandable, I guess, at least in its intention. It puts them in like residential, almost campus-style housing where 16 to 24-year-olds can receive their GED and train for several trades. Now, on the face of it, sounds great. Trade school is a great thing, and for people who maybe don't have the best trajectory in terms of being runaways, having some sort of difficulty that they have to overcome, cool, makes sense. Well, how was it working? Because that's the problem that I think all of these well-intentioned programs have. Contractors who were paid bonuses to recruit students and have positive job placement statistics were cooking the books, misrepresenting everything that was going on, basically saying, hey, these kids are coming in here, they're doing great jobs, and are out in the world being productive members of society. Fortunately, they weren't. I think it was something like almost 70%, and don't quote me on these numbers, of the people getting paid by Job Corps were contractors, non-government contractors, who have every incentive to cook the books. I hate it, but I also have to ask, why wouldn't you? The Daily Wire reported that Job Corps spends $764,000 per graduate, while participants go on to earn an average $17,000 a year annually. That is more than the cost of the most elite universities, more than the cost of Harvard. And the outcome is that you earn $17,000 a year, which is below the standard deduction, I think. Well, I guess if you're married, yeah, the standard deduction is higher than that, but I think it's $15,000 a year. In other words, they don't make enough money to even get taxed on it. Not that that is entirely the goal of people working, but it is kind of an interesting facet here, especially if the program is funded by the taxpayer. Wouldn't you want some sort of return on your investment? A third of the students typically simply disappear, just gone off into, nothingness, and no one's able to keep tabs. Another third of the students are expelled for serious misconduct, which we'll get to in a second, which is the whole, how was this still even a thing, even after the incredible cost waste? A third then went on to graduate, and I use, again, graduate in air quotes. According to data obtained by the Daily Wire, more than 500 sexual assaults were reported in the last 3 years at the facilities at Job Corps. And you can only assume that that's not entirely the full number, because reported versus unreported, but the statistics, 500 over the last 3 years, which is awful, by the way. Then there were 4,600 reported violent assaults and 8,000 drug-related incidents over the past 3 years also. So on top of the fact that they spent almost $750 million, over $750 million per student to only make $17,000 per year, it is riddled with sexual assaults, violence, drugs. Holy cow. The last thing that's also interesting, the program requires that applicants don't have higher than an 8th grade reading level. All that being said, it is amazing that this was still around. It was a massive waste of money. Looked like it was just a cesspool of awfulness from every facet, from the spending, from the earning, from the assaults, from the drugs, from the violence. And yet, if I were to place money on it, I would almost guarantee that libs are going to be crying out, oh no, Trump wants to take away the Job Corps, which was put in place to help disadvantaged youth. Again, nothing against disadvantaged youth. But holy cow, if the system isn't working, if a policy isn't working, get the heck rid of it.